to episode number 2 of No Scrubs Allowed. Today I'm going to be talking to Ark, who is our Guardian from Team Legacy North America. How are you doing, Ark?
Above average, as always.
Excellent, excellent. Alright, we have no news, so we're just going to get right into this.
Ooh.
So, first question is, how good is a Guardian in structured PvP right now?
They are strong in 1v1s, and they're strong in team fights. They are weak in mobility, and they have a good place in a team a lot of the times, but they also have a hard place in a team that relies on mobility a lot.
Alright, let's talk about team roles in a second. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm most interested in is answering the question, is a Guardian necessary?
No.
Okay, so
Straight no.
what could you replace it with?
You can replace it with a supportive Ellie. We have someone who does a very good support Ellie. You can replace it with basically a slew of anyone who can just do support and be tanky and provide a good team atmosphere. That could either be an engineer with Condi. I honestly think that if the role is like solid, it could probably replace the Guardian in a way.
Okay, so that brings us straight into roles. What is the Guardian's role in structured PvP right now?
Guardians are very strong at holding a point. That means that they can sit there, and if one guy comes over and wants to contest it, they're going to have to contest it for a long time before the Guardian dies, or they might even die because the Guardian's very strong 1v1. So during that time, you're just earning points. So that's a huge part of it, of why you would bring a Guardian. The other part about it would be in a team fight, they provide a lot of controlling effects like knockbacks and stuns. They also can provide a lot of healing with their book. The book is cool.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk more about that. Specifically with the changes that have been made to the book. Actually, let's do that right now. Okay, so on the 9th, stability was removed from both of the books. I believe the healing book gives you protection now. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how has that changed the viability of a Guardian who is kind of acting as that point control, mass heal in team fights?
It's become counterable the same way it was before. It does require one extra skill now. Guardians have on-demand stability in two ways. They can use concentrated ground, or they can use stand your ground, which is a shout they probably are bringing anyways, because it's a fantastic skill. If they pop that, they have stability anyways. So they pop book right after. They have enough to get their tome off. The biggest change is actually something that wasn't mentioned, which is the nerf to pacify, which is the one that makes it so all your targets are dazed around you. You can't get that off for free anymore. That's the biggest thing.
All right, so you're kind of, in a sense, losing control. You're being forced to take an extra skill, which is limiting your other slots. Though, were you running that on-demand stability anyways?
Yes, absolutely. It's a stun breaker. It provides stability for your whole team, which is great for stomps or rezzing, and it provides retaliation, which is great. Love retaliation.
Yes.
We'll get to that, though.
Well, speaking of retaliation, the Tome of Fury, or whatever the damage tome is, they added retaliation to that instead of stability, right?
Yeah. They replaced stability.
Does it make it any more viable?
It doesn't. It's honestly retaliation. You get a ton of it anyways on Guardian, so it's kind of weird to give it retaliation. It's not a big deal. It's just there. It's just like if it gave you regeneration. It's like, oh, okay, that's nice. Yeah,
right.
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
That's cool. Well, I didn't know if it maybe made it so that the Guardian could be a little bit more of an offensive role. Everybody uses them very defensively, it seems, most of the time. So let's move into question number 2. What build do you use, and how does that fit into your team?
Speaking of offensive Guardians, most Guardians we run are offensive. They're not defensive. They're not pure defense. They're not a brick. They don't sit on the ground and do nothing, but team help.
That's good. I did bring up your build here.
Oh, I can see that. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I have it myself. First of all, let's just go with the weapons first. I'm bringing a scepter and a shield. Because the scepter is a range attack, which is beautiful, it also has a nice AoE thing, which allows you to hit people and do big damage, which is great. The shield is team fight support. It provides the absorbing of projectiles, which helps your team in sticky situations where you're trying to res and to get people off of your characters that are doing the big damage besides you. I'm also taking a greatsword because spinning is really, really good, and it's one of the best single weapons for 1 versus 1. If you don't have the traits to do single-handed weapons, because there's another build with that, I take the greatsword because it has great team fight, and that's what I'm trying to bring, is offensive team fight.
And your sigil, I see Sigil of Superior Ice, and with the greatsword,
Mm-hmm.
that's really just trying to slow the other person down as much as possible, trying to in a 1v1 just kind of prevent them from being able to use do their damage to you.
No, the reason why you have chill is to catch people, and the chill catches them because when you see a guardian leap at you with greatsword, you already know he's going to put his little symbol down and then spin and stuff like that's going to happen. So what most people do is they just dodge roll twice, or after they see the combo, then they see it again, they're going to dodge roll again. So the chill sets them up. Because what it does is it makes it so you can land your other skills, even though you're not landing your spin, you're still going to get your circle off and they can't get out of it. Or unless they burn a dodge roll, but you're not spinning. Right. So you can save your spin for when they're running out of those options for defense, and then you spin on top of them and they're dead.
Okay,
so that's fantastic.
It's really actually more offensive to try to mitigate or try to negate their ability to get away.
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, so let's move on to your utilities.
Utilities. Okay, I'm taking Radiance. I'm going 30 down Radiance because there's a little tiny tier 3 trait, which is Perfect Inscriptions, which makes your Signet effects improved a lot, and that's very important. It makes your heal skill, the Signet that heals you, Signet of Resolve, remove 2 conditions every 10 seconds instead of just 1, which is big because you don't have too much big condition removal, like the full wipes you're looking for. It also makes the bar very consistent. And next you have Signet of Judgment, and this is the real reason why you're bringing this tier 3 trait. It's because Signet of Judgment, when you trade it, its retaliation duration goes from 5 seconds on your whole team to 10. And that's the base. So then all your boon durations from there are going to extend the base 10 seconds. And with the Signet cooldown attached in Radiance, which is, it's a tier 1 trait I have taken in Radiance, it's going to make it so Signet of Judgment is almost always up on your whole team. So you got retaliation on everyone, always. And that's big in the team.
That sounds vicious.
It is. Very vicious. And finally, the tier 2 trait I have in Radiance is Signet's Cure Condition on you. That's because I want it so since I'm spamming Signet of Judgment over and over again, I want to get an extra effect out of it because I'm using it on cooldown instead of it just giving 2 effects. It's going to give me 3 now. And there's just not too many good tier 2 traits in that line that I can take advantage of. So I'm just kind of stuck with it in a way. Or did you want me to go to Valor? Right?
Well, let's talk about... Okay, so we have Stand Your Ground, Hold the Line, both of them pretty much self-explanatory. And then your Tome of Courage. Is there anything you want to say about those? If not, go ahead.
Oh, sure. Stand Your Ground and Hold the Line are shouts, and that comes into play when we go into talk about our runes, and we're going to talk about 30 and Honor. So those will come into play later. The Tome is just still fantastic. Tome of Wrath is even pretty good if you can set it up. It does a ton of damage with its auto attack. It does a ton of damage with its number 5 with the knockdown. But it's very hard to pull off, and it doesn't have that nice, like, all are healed Chen kind of thing to it from Dota,
For sure.
So, yeah, still bring Tome of Courage. It's fantastic. Still work around it. Get a feel for it if you're a new player. Definitely start with that. I'm going down 10 Valor because it's going to give you critical damage, which you need desperately because you're not exactly bringing too many strong amulets or runes or anything. You have to supplement your damage in a way. So that 10% extra crit damage is very high for you, and losing a condition every 10 seconds is very helpful because you end up losing literally 3 conditions passively every 10 seconds, which is huge in 1 versus 1. If you're bringing Condi to a 1 versus 1, yeah, you're pretty much done in that. For Honor, I'm going 30 down Honor, and the biggest reason is that tier 3 trait, which allows it so all my shouts are going to cure conditions and then turn them into boons on my allies. So the shouts I'm using on the bar, which I'm spamming on cooldown, or not spamming on cooldown, I shouldn't say that, but using them tactfully on cooldown,
Right.
you know? Yeah, exactly. Are carrying conditions not once, but twice, and one time converting it to a boon. And that's from the runes, eventually we'll get to. The tier 2 trait is symbols are larger. And the reason why I have that is because the Greatsword number 2 is a fantastic skill that does lots of damage. And when you need that extra AoE when you pin down a target, that AoE is really helpful. And it helps you stand in it and give extra retaliation supplementation while the signet's not on cooldown. And finally, the tier 1 trait is shouts recharge faster because I'm tactfully using them on cooldown, So I need
Right.
them to be up as fast as possible. So with that whole setup, I'm going for a very offensive but team-orientated Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And that moves me on to amulets. The amulets for I'm bringing Soldier's Amulet because it's giving me high power, which gives my retaliation big damage. A lot of my damage is coming from retaliation.
Okay.
Especially for the whole team, considering there's 5 targets. Next is giving me vitality and toughness, which is going to keep me alive in a team fight because I don't have extra healing skills. I really only have 1 heal skill I can use in a fight, and that's Signet of Resolve. And it has a very, very high cooldown, so I'm going to need that toughness to stay alive while I'm waiting for that recharge. I'm taking Berserker's Jewel because I don't need that much toughness, and I do need a little extra critical damage and power to help supplement that retaliation. And finally, I'm taking Runes of the Scholar. Soldier, sorry, just Scholar. I wish I was taking Scholar runes. I love doing big damage. But Runes of the Soldier, what that's doing is on 6 down the rune line, it's going to remove a condition every time I shout. And that's going to remove 2 conditions every shout when I'm using them tactfully in combat.
Right.
Tactically, everything. It's a great rune to have.
Okay, so you're actually removing 3 conditions passively every 10 seconds.
10. Mm-hmm.
You're removing a condition every time you use a signet, and you're removing 2 conditions every time you use a shout.
Yes, and
That's
converting
crazy.
to a boon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and with that, if a condition guy comes to 1 versus 1 you're out of luck.
Right.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight build.
Now, all right, so that brings us to our final question, and that is, how do you beat a Guardian? If I want a reliable way to, when I see a Guardian on the other team, say, okay, I know I can handle this, how do I do that?
The way you beat a Guardian, this is actually going to be a tricky question because the way Guild Wars is built is there's not too many hard counters in the game. If you're coming up to me and you're going to use a multi-hit attack and I have retaliation, that's probably not a good idea. So the way you go about going against a Guardian is watching his boons, especially for this build, especially. Guardians are meant to solidify a point and be 1 versus 1. The best thing you can do against a Guardian is out-rotate him and not fight him on the point. Find a place where you can 2 versus 1 the Guardian by using high mobility to beat the Guardian. Instead of saying, I'm going to pound my face against this brick wall, say, I'm going to pound my face against this brick wall with 2 people and down him. That's the way you have to kind of handle it. The other counters to the Guardian is boon removal, but that's not too reliable. Obviously, we have lots of, not spammy, but, tactically applications of retaliation. So what you have to do is watch for that retaliation. Don't use multi-hit attacks against someone with retaliation. It's going to kill you. It's going to do almost 30% of your damage back to you if you don't watch out. It depends on your class, obviously. And finally, if you see the book, you can remove this ability and just knock him down, and he'll be out of commission with that book. His skill will go off cooldown. It's done. So
really beating a Guardian is very much about watching what they're doing, figuring out how to counter not the class, but rather the individual skills they're using, the boons they're using. Um, okay.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much. Do you want to do any shoutouts?
I'd like to shout out. You can check out our web zone at facebook.com/Team Legacy NA. We're going to be doing die giveaways like Abyssal and Celestial White. I earned them. I'm the best, and I'll be giving them away. Um, but when we hit
Very nice.
100 likes, we're going to give them away. So, what was
Do
that?
you
3 out of 100 chance to get them? Ooh.
do you stream at all?
I do not stream yet. I will be streaming later, probably this week. I will be. You can check out our stream. We stream as a team on Quilp's page, which is QWLPP. That's a Twitch address, of course. www.twitch.com/Quilp.
Very cool.
Um, yeah.
All right. Well, I am VVV Fearless. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Twitch at VVV Fearless. You can follow me on Twitter at VVV Fearless. Thank you once again to VVV Gaming for letting me do this, and all of our sponsors too. Thank you so much.
And